Alright, welcome to Mayhem News Wrestling broadcast for 8/20 of 2013. I'll send you that song. Big show today, big show. A lot of news, a lot of stuff we're going to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. Been pretty good weather up here so far. So been out and about this morning, but I got back. We're going to go on to headlines. We've got two sections of headlines this time. Normally I report on Raw and ROH, but ROH had like a best of show and there really wasn't nothing to talk about because some of it was like from their first show, and I just kind of mentioned that they had their 100th show, so we're going to move on to that later. But anyway, a lot of people don't know that the Wyatt family, which Bray Wyatt's character was actually created by Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. This is a major Triple H project. He was the one that brought them up from the training area, and where it is that they're set for a big push. They're already kind of getting one, but we're talking about a major push. By that meaning that they may actually take the Shield's place as the major heel faction. So I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna get rid of the Shield. They're gonna break them up completely. I'm pretty sure most wrestling fan knows they're not gonna stay together forever. They're gonna eventually break them up. They're really getting ready to push the Wyatts. They've already started out with a big push going against Kane, and it's going to be rather cool to see how that. A lot of people are saying, "Well, we're tired of them." Well, you need the TNA's on every Thursday. You can watch the TNA if you want to. Why you still can. There's a lot of stuff out that Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards, and Prince Mustafa Ali, former of RHO, are attending WWE tryout camps at the end of August. So we could be looking forward to them, or, well, it depends. They've just released another developmental contract. Guy had been in developmental contract since 2011. I think after the first year, if you hadn't figured out a guy's going to work out, why wait? Nearly 2 years, over 2 years to decide to get rid of him. Anyway, Lex Luger has a book he's pushing right now. It's called Wrestling with the Devil. He has a co-writer, John D. Hollis. It details his life through football and pro wrestling from 1980 to 1990s, his downfall and redemption and becoming a born-again Christian. The foreword is written by a longtime wrestler, big star Sting, and also his longtime friend. He talks about how he didn't really like Luger when he first met him, but they ended up being best friends. So that's going to be, if you get a chance to pick it up on Kindle, or Sting was the reason that Luger became a born-again Christian. Also, 2K14 releases 30 years of WrestleMania roster. Be honest with you, I'm not going to talk about the roster because of the stars that were left off. 2K is doing a video game devoted to the last 30 years of WrestleMania and is not going to have Roddy Piper in this video game. To our knowledge now, it is not. He is not going to be part of the 30 years of WrestleMania. How can you not have? And there's a lot of wrestlers that were left out. Goldust wasn't in there either. But Roddy Piper too. And then there's too many to mention that they've left out. And I just don't understand. I don't understand. You're going to do 30 years of wrestling, but 90% of the people you got in there hadn't been around but maybe 15 years. I don't know. It disappoints me. We'll just have to see what we get when we get the final product. There's a lot of things that change in game development before the game actually hits. And there's a rule You know, they say in wrestling, if you don't see it on TV, it didn't actually happen. Well, if it didn't happen, if you don't see it in the video game, it didn't really happen. So, until it comes out. Shawn Michaels, along with several other internet writers, we'll get to that in the second part of our headlines, are talking that the hype over a recent reveal by Darren Young that he is a homosexual is so 1980s. He says that the gay wrestlers have been around for years and people in the biz knew it. Yeah. And they've always not treated them right either. We'll get into more of that later. The Big Show just signed another 5-year contract with WWE. That's a good thing. And Big Show is on top of his game. We'll talk about that when we get to Raw. Big Show is cut to the more than I've ever seen him cut. Even when he was with WCW, he didn't have any kind of development in his arms, but he looks like he picked up some of Kane's old training manuals and maybe hooked himself up with some cool stuff. Because I'll tell you, when I saw the pictures online before he came back, I was like, anyway, SummerSlam. I did not watch the pay-per-view. Russell was hit by a bad stomach virus, so Russell was not able to watch it. I did not feel like looking at anything. But I did get the results. I did get some video from a friend, so I did get to see most of it. And what I didn't see wasn't good enough to look at. Anyway, my pre-SummerSlam predictions were RVD. You know, these are the winners: Bryan, Punk, Del Rio, Rhodes, Wyatt, Ziggler, Caitlyn, over AJ and Big E, Natalya. That's 7 out of 8, with the Punk match tripping me up from a perfect score. I would have had a perfect score. I truly thought they were going to let Punk win, but I guess they had to throw Lesnar a bone. He was like, "Hey, hadn't won in a while, especially under pay-per-view." Woo. Anyway, never mind. I got to give it to him. Like I said, I didn't watch the highlights matches of the night. Punk Lesnar. Somebody said on Twitter, and they used it properly. Oh my God, that was an awesome match. It really was. I don't like Lesnar. I didn't like him in the UFC. Now, I liked him when he first came out in WWE. But the fact that they're still calling him the Beast is just not true. The fact that they're calling him the best wrestler, best athlete in the UFC has ever seen is bullshit. I'm sorry. Sorry my language, but it's bullshit. Anyway, but I have to give it to him. Red-faced, seeming like he was going to have a stroke half the time, but hey, him and Punk went on a damn good show. What little bit I got to see of it, it was spectacular. Punk, I think literally, if he got mad enough, the claws would literally fly from his fist. I really think that he has embodied and has been possessed by the cartoon spirit of Wolverine. I really do. Not only does he have the cool things, but hey, I'm wondering if somebody needs to do an X-ray, because I think Punk has adamantium on his. Anybody survived that match, and even Lesnar had kind of a Dolph Lundgren, Rocky IV thing. Like, this guy's not, he's not human, because he's not staying down. If it wasn't for Paul Heyman, Lesnar would have lost. So it was a great match. It really was. Let's see. We got Del Rio and Christian, to be surprised, was actually a good match. And then Bryan and Cena, they can say and still try to convince people that Cena only has 5 moves of doom. Well, I hate to tell you, if you've got 5 moves of doom, you can pull something out if you're in the ring with Bryan. Because if all you've got is 5 moves, Bryan's going to eat your ass up. Because he is like Inspector Gadget, to use a cartoony term, or a Dean Malenko, he can pull out moves out of his ass, and you'll be like, I literally had to fast forward it a couple times. And he was so entertaining that I wasn't even focused, on a friend that I did not actually see but maybe 5 minutes of the match, but he was right. That part of the match was so good that I didn't even notice the Popeye looking elbow that Cena had, the large pocket of fluid that was on his elbow. Seemed to be shocked, a lot of people seem shocked that Orton actually came out, cashed in, and somebody actually helped. Well, this is not the first time that somebody won the title. Christian won the title the first time, and somebody cashed in immediately. It's been a lot of times it's happened. It's not the first time it's happened. Yeah, and won't be the last. There's a lot of Undertaker references, not actually by the wrestlers, or there were several moves that were used, and people were actually calling for the Undertaker. It happened several times during the night by the crowd, and there was a couple of times, I kept looking toward the thing. I was like, well, maybe he's fixing to come out, and maybe they know something we don't. The Wyatts taking Kane with him makes me wonder what's up with that. Originally, I talked about maybe Kane, because Wyatt at first did not tell Kane, just follow the buzzards. He said, find your way home and follow the buzzards. And I'm kind of wondering if maybe it's going to be hard to believe, but I think it might be interesting for Kane to become a follower. Captain Ear is going to be sitting there shaking her head. But I'm wondering if it ain't going to happen. Let's see. Christian and Del Rio, it was a classic. It wasn't, it wasn't something that's going to beat like, the match of the century or nothing, but, it was actually pretty good. And the only reason Cena and Bryan takes for overall best match of the night is because of the swerve at the end. I give the pay-per-view an 8 out of 10, which is pretty high from the last. Just put it this way, I have dropped my pay-per-view purchases down to about 4 a year, and right now it's moved up to maybe 5 with SummerSlam, but I gauge it as I see it. Okay, we're going to talk about the SummerSlam ripple effect. What did some of the matches and some of the outcomes mean for Raw? Now, you got to remember, I wrote these notes before Raw took place. A lot of talk about evolution after Triple H of Orton. We saw on Raw that they're not really hinting at that. Even though Stephanie hugging Orton kind of creeped me out. Yeah. Or maybe, as most probably, wouldn't you agree, baby? As most men and teenage boys was like, we weren't really upset about him hugging, just were jealous. Anyway. Especially after seeing her in the bikini workout pictures that I saw on TMZ the other day. Stephanie got it going on. She is stacked. She's working. She's actually doing some pictures in Muscle, I think it's Muscle Fitness magazine. So this is what all those pictures were about. The Wyatts are gaining more heat by defeating Kane, and like I said before, why take him? Will Kane become a convert? And Captain Ear, if she's watching this later on, will be sitting there going, no. Sorry, Captain Ear, it may happen. Anyway, I believe that Daniel Bryan's revenge on the McMahons will not only be cold, but it'll be very calculating. I really think, and it's awesome that they're pushing him in this. And is Ambrose losing the U.S. title the first signs of the Shield's demise? Could be. I don't know. They were still kind of on Raw. They were still kind of pushed into the limelight. But I mean, you got to remember that the Shield is actually one of Triple H's projects. So a lot of things are happening that is Cody Rhodes championship bound? I believe he is. And when will Sandow cash in? And when he cashes in, will he not be facing Cody Rhodes for a title match? Could be possible. Big talk about Cody Rhodes. Raw results. Show opens up with John Cena endorsing Daniel Bryan. He said he was beat by the better man. His elbow did not interfere with his wrestling at all. He says, I was beaten by the better man. And he calls Daniel Bryan out. And, of course, you know, before that, he tells everybody that he will be out 4 to 6 months because he's got to do the elbow surgery for a torn tricep, which has got to be painful, especially be doing some of the stuff he's been doing in the ring. Not only that, but some of the other injuries and things that he's going to let himself heal up to 100%, which is wise, because if they don't watch out, they're not going to have him. John Cena's not going to be around anymore because he's going to end up with some kind of, you know, career-ending neck injury or something. So, basically, Stephanie McMahon gets called out on her crap, as some people on Twitter called it, after defending Triple H. Bryan is removed from the building by security. But he tells Stephanie before he leaves, I will return. I will be back. Cody Rhodes continues to prove he has Sandow's number by defeating Sandow again. That's 2 in a row. Let's see. That's 2 in a row on a World Heavyweight Champion Money in the Bank winner. And Cody Rhodes has been quoted to saying that he should be the number 1 contender since he has beaten Sandow twice already. And that's one time on a pay-per-view. Funkadactyls defeat AJ and Layla in what AJ and Layla would call an upset. Layla, if you hadn't watched it yet, Layla has a tantrum. So this is a Layla tantrum alert. Yeah. AJ was just kind of sitting out there going mean, looking mean. So I don't know. I'm surprised she didn't have a tantrum either. But Maddox pulls Ziggler aside about some of the things he said due to the negative comments he had toward Triple H. He puts him in a match with a tag match with the Shield. And, you know, Ziggler got in some good licks, but, you know, eventually he was devastated. Reigns hit him with a spear for the win. Del Rio defeats Sin Cara. Sin Cara was injured again. This guy needs Affleck. Yeah. Affleck! Anyway, sorry. Del Rio said he is the hero of the people, especially the Mexican and Latino population. He is confronted by Rodriguez. Unless, I'm going to be honest, I would have rather it been someone else, like somebody named Cara. Anyway, but he was confronted by Rodriguez, who says his new employer is actually a hero, and he introduces him, Rob Van Dam, and which is actually pretty cool. Rodriguez actually looked like now he's moved away from Del Rio. He's actually in his own character fade now. He's got his own character, you know, workings now. He seems more confident, which, you know, of course he wasn't. He's always been that way. That's part of his character with Del Rio. So now I have a feeling they're going to work around where some way they're going to have to face each other. It would still better be, you know, Chimera. Anyway, but, you know, if you don't know who that is, shame on you. You need to look it up. Chimera's Rage. Anyway, basically, there wasn't really a match. RVD comes out, pretty much, you know, bulldozes Del Rio hauls booty, takes off. Primetime Flares defeat the Real Americans. There's a lot of Twitter and Facebook talk about it. It seems Darren Young admitting he is gay caught WWE off guard, which is why he got most of the focus during the last part of this match. The big question for this week, we'll have one on Saturday, but I know we're going to have one every Tuesday. The big question is this. Was WWE caught off guard with Darren Young's announcement that he is a homosexual? And is this the way they're dealing with it by pushing the primetime players once again? If you don't recall, they have been on the back burner for a while, so I really don't know. I feel he got some attention due to the announcement, but it's too early for anyone to assume or to even say that his highlight during this match was due to that announcement. Now, if it continues, then, you know, but, you know, who's to say that that's That's something bad, you know. The Shield used once again to punish the Big Show, and they defeat the Big Show. Seth says hello, and however, they will not forget who they were in the ring with. The Big Show was in top form and brutalized the Shield. However, was defeated. He did announce before that match that he would team up with Mark Henry to go after the tag titles. And if I was the two members of the Shield that had the tag titles, I would be really concerned. My tag team name for that group, for Mark Henry and the Big Show to be together, would be Pain and Suffering. There was some people on Twitter actually said, is that even fair to team those up? That's like teaming the Undertaker and Kane up. You know, is it even fair for the other people to put them together? And one guy said in some states it may not even be legal, because I mean, it may be infliction with a deadly weapon. I believe I would have just had to say, excuse me, is that even legal? But that's going to be a kick-ass team. You know, I just hope they use my name. That'd be cool. Anyway, CM Punk confronts a fan and booing him, and then he confronts Heyman, and Heyman sends Curtis Axel down to take care of CM Punk, and Curtis Axel gets demolished by a obviously hurting and injured Punk. But I smell Punk Lesnar 2 in a cage match. I'm calling it here. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be Punk Lesnar in a cage match. And I think they ought to have to chain Paul Heyman to the outside of the ring, so whoever wins can either let him go or beat the hell out of him. I think that would be awesome. Bray Wyatt just takes out R-Truth. One shot, one kill, pretty much. This was his first full match as Bray Wyatt on Raw. You know, he has had other matches on TV, but we don't talk about that. Anyway, the Usos defeat 3B, continuing their roll of success. I like the Usos. It's good for them to get a push. Jey Uso, who is on Totally Divas a lot, he's hilarious. I swear to God, he is. The things he says between the Funkadactyls just kills me. If you hadn't seen Total Divas, Jey actually goes to the plastic surgeon, and there's a lady that works in the office that actually had boob job, comes in and allows him to look and see what they look like. Now his girlfriend is sitting right here, and she tells him, "You better take advantage of this, because it's not going to happen again." He actually gets his hands, because he put his hands on this woman's breast, and I'm like, the look on his face was priceless. He's like, "Oh, those are nice." It was funny. Anyway, the Miz defeats Wade Barrett after Fandango attacks the Miz, continuing their ongoing feud. I'm not sure what this coronation thing was supposed to be at the end of Raw. To me, it was a way to kill 20 minutes of TV. I got kind of bored with it. To me, it looked like a bunch of storylines from the past rolled into one. You know, Corporation, you know, Evolution, all that rolled into one. And it was too busy. It was too confusing. I'm pretty sure half of the superstars that was up on the things, why are we standing out here? They barely put the camera on them anymore. I don't know. But somebody said something on Twitter last night that I agree with. That this storyline will require the WWE Universe to have patience, because I think that Daniel Bryan is going to seek a very cold and calculated revenge, and I think it's going to be interesting. RHO results this week, all they had was their 100th episode. They basically went over the last 100 episodes, tucking out the highlights of some matches. It had Jay Lethal and Strong on it, so not really much to talk about, so I'm going to continue to do some headlines. Rex Ivanovic from CageSideSeats.com says the positive response to Darren Young may be whitewashing wrestling's history with homosexual wrestlers. He talks about Kanyon being dressed as Boy George and beaten by The Undertaker. He talks of TNA's stereotypical treatment of Orlando Jordan. States he is proud of Darren Young, but that we must remember the past, not lest we repeat it. Let's see. NoDQ said, NoDQ.com said Sin Cara was getting heat from quitting his match. It ends up he had a dislocated finger. They are doing something to make sure he doesn't have a contusional fracture. I think that's what he called it anyway. NoDQ. Let's see. I don't know why. I guess it's because of that thing on the paper. Anyway, NoDQ.com. Ryback's obvious bully angle is getting lots of negative chatter due to its contradiction of WWE's Be a Star program. I pretty much, it's a bathroom break. When it comes up, I don't even want to watch. It's kind of stupid. And in real life, he'd find himself maced or kicked in the nuts and left in the shower to be, the bully he is. But anyway, Del Rio was in an altercation. At first, this was also by NoDQ.com. First, apparently people thought that him and Drew McIntyre got into it. That is not what happened. Del Rio in an altercation with two individuals in the hotel at the SummerSlam hotel they were staying at. And McIntyre came to help Del Rio. Security escorted the two African-American males from the hotel. Leave the wrestlers alone, people. The guy's a heel. That's not the way they are in real life. If they are, trust me, people will talk about it. You'll know that if they are that. But just leave them alone. Don't put your hands on people unless you plan on getting your butt kicked. Because, Anyway, Goldberg said he is open for a WWE return. Now, especially since his son watches his matches on YouTube. He does say that Ryback is a total ripoff of him, but holds no ill will towards him. So, we're going to go into some of our sponsor stuff now. And if you look at the end, I'm talking about the sponsors on here, but the way I'm doing the show right now, I can't add the pop-ups on the screen, like I did when we were live. So, after the show goes off, you hear the music, there'll be some screenshots pop up that'll tell you what web pages to go to for Throttle. It'll tell you some things about some of our sponsors. And the only one I don't have is I don't have Fighting Disability because I've got to download that picture and everything. So, okay, here we go. Just remember, we're here every Tuesday, unless I say different. Sometimes, if it depends on if it's bill paying day or something, I may not be at home, so but I will let you know by Twitter, Facebook, and Google Plus that we will be rescheduling the show. We're here Tuesdays. I usually post the show by 5, and then we're not doing it live right now, so it's recorded. And then Saturdays at the same time, I post it by 5, and the same thing goes with that. If I'm not going to be here, then I'll post it. Zach Pack Promotions is a nonprofit organization helping cancer patients' families, helping them get some things that they need, helping Down syndrome children's families for educational purposes, autistic children and families. They're helping anything that's close to their heart. They have something big going on right now. They just had a show in, I know they just did some stuff in Chicago, but November the 16th and the 17th, you can look it up on the webpage. It's Zach Pack Promotions. It's basically www.zachpackpromotions.com. That's /busting, FOR for autism. It's November the 16th to 17th. You can have lunch with these superstars. Now, Goldust is filled up. He doesn't have any more lunch spots. But you still got Snitsky, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Joey Image, Sergeant Slaughter, Hexaw Jim Duggan, Honky Tonk Man, and that's just the wrestlers. That's not some of the other TV stars, some of the reality TV show. If you like Parking Wars, there's some people. There's a young lady on there that's a comedian. I don't have everybody right here with me, but you can go to their, also go to their Facebook page for Zach Pack Promotions, or you can follow them on Twitter at ZPAC Promotions is their Twitter feed, and you can follow them. They'll tell you everything about it. Let's see, Fighting Disability Slurs. That's fightingdisabilityslurs.wordpress.com. That is mine and my wife's baby. We're trying to get people to stop using slurs for people with disabilities, racial slurs, LBT rights, slurs and stuff like that. It'd be a better place. Also, if you heard the song at the first of the show, right before the show come on, that is New Blood, our theme song. We want to thank Throttle for giving us our theme song. They have a new album coming out, hopefully in 2 weeks. I will be talking to Fiddler, Mike Fiddler, about that. New Razor Wire Finish Line. It will be coming out hopefully in 2 weeks. We will be doing some giveaways. I think I'm just going to do it on Twitter. And I may do some stuff where you have to answer some trivia stuff about the show. Also, anything they have is available on iTunes now, and it's not going to break your bank. It's some of their songs are 99 cents. It's really good. They got some good stuff, especially if you like heavy metal. Heavy. It's bad. It's awesome, badass. Anyway. Also, I want to give a shout out, as we do every week, to Blast 52. They are an Irish band. You can follow them at Twitter. That's at Blast 52. And you can follow Stephanie, their drummer, at Blast 52 Drummer. Their stuff is available on iTunes. At the end of this show, you'll see a thing. I've got their YouTube channel up. You can look at the link right about at the bottom of the page. And you can also see some other stuff I've wrote about them too. They got some good music, folks. You can listen to some of their songs on YouTube so you'll know what you're listening to. But they are available on iTunes. They do have a new album coming out, an EP. Right now, I think it's only going to be available on iTunes. But she said if something comes up, they will let us know. I really appreciate the people that have listened to us, and we're pushing 900 views. I really appreciate it. I appreciate your patience as we are not live right now. I'm having computer issues, but doing pretty good. Hey, I appreciate everybody looking. I'm gonna let Throttle take us on out, and I appreciate your sticking in with us, and I will see you Saturday. We're gone.